In this short chapter, we will see how we can introduce the concept of backplate and integrating an object into that backplate. We will be using that car, which is a car that have been designed by my friend and co-worker Nick Gindro. There's not much to say about that car besides the fact that you will have access to the FPX and you should have some fun using it. It's quite high-res, but it should be a good subject to do some test shader on the car paint and stuff like that. Okay, let's hide the car first. We don't need it for now. We will create first a dome light. We will be assigning a specific HDRI image. Computer, new volume, new volume, Dropbox, no more. We will be going the HDRI. We will be getting those one from HDRImap.com free. As you can see, those maps come in different variation. You have an environment map, which is the one that you are supposed to use for the global illumination. You have the one that you have supposed to use for the reflection, and one you're supposed to use for the refraction. At this point in time, we are just doing the very simple way with the dome light. That's what I do in 50% of the case on my work. And later another chapter, I will show you how to use the environment shader and using a race switch. But for now, let's stay super simple. We grab this one. The reflection should be good enough. Open. Okay, that's what we have. We will be maybe here, I don't know, something like that. Cool. Now we will put the previous exposure to 1 to be able to see a little bit better in the viewport here. Then we will be grabbing a backplate. Enable, map, and we go to the same folder. And here, come on, HDRI. And we will grab this one or this one. Let's go with this one, 28mm. Perfect. Now if I do a test render, this is what I got, right? Fairly decent. So now we will create a plane, just a stupid regular plane. And we will align the plane with the backplate, more or less, something like that. We will adjust it later when we are ready to put the car on top of it. And something like that. It's good. Something like that. It's okay. So we will also rotate our IBL to be roughly the same position than the backplate. We will exposure 0 here, exposure 0 here, it's good. We will now create 2 spheres. Let's go here, 1 and 2. Make them a bit bigger. We will assign a material to them, lighting, shading, assign new material, and shader and redshift car paint. And this one, redshift, lighting, up, lighting, assign new material. This one will be using redshift material classic, and we will tell him that's silver. Now this one, that's a ground plane, right? This one we will tell him that it is a shadow catcher. So far so good. Background is environment. Here, catch diffuse. We want to make sure, if you put catch diffuse, this is what happened, right? This is, you see how the reflection and the AO are going this way. What you want to do is catch diffuse and grab a color that is close to what actually is. Let's move that to black. Remove catch diffuse. Then choose the color. Now we can choose a diffuse color that is close to what we are supposed to have. And the reflection. In life, everything is reflective except the super black material that was invented by NASA like some years ago or something like that. For now, we will be going super blurry in the glossiness. So basically, my understanding of PBS shadow is like in life, everything is glossy. You don't have the concept of specular in real life. Everything is reflective to a certain degree and have a certain degree of glossiness. That's the way I interpret it. That's the way I use it in my work. So, and I don't say it's the right way, maybe it's the wrong way, but for me it's working. That's the way I interpret it, and it's working. We're here. We will now look at that car, but before we do that, let's do a quick render. Everything will be black here. I'm pretty sure about it. I see it. Yep. So let's go here to our matte shadow, and now it should be good. No, it's not good. You see, now I'm fighting with that Bacon Alpha 1. Now it's working, and for whatever reason, clicking on Catch Diffuse, Bacon this environment, Catch Diffuse, let's see if I can create that issue again. Yeah, everything is black. Then coming here and saying Bacon this environment, now it should be fine. Yep, now it's fine again. I guess it's some IPA update that get kind of messed up. Anyway, what's important is that it is working. So we have the sphere, we have everything. Let's display the car, show all, and the car is way too small. Let's just make the car bigger. Let's hide the sphere, grab everything here except that, make it bigger. And let's see what we have. So the car is in there. Yeah, it's integrated already. Might want it to be a little bit higher, maybe just a little bit, and then also change the material because it's too glossy for my task. Here, custom, we will say plastic, and then we will say URGGX, and we will say roughness. I tend to use a GGX because, as I mentioned before, that's the one that works with Substance Designer, Substance Matter. But since I use it there, I tend to know, kind of have a feeling for the way it reacts when I move a slider. So here we will make it more toward the green, actually, something like that here, darker maybe. Good, and then take the reflection a bit down. So at this point the car is integrated. Let's bring the sphere back. Let's move them forward a little bit. There's for me a crucial difference between using only an environment sphere or using a backplate. One of the difference is that, or the main difference is that with an environment sphere, if I use depth of field, which I'm using all the time nowadays, the depth of field don't get calculated on the sphere because the sphere is just an infinite sphere. Here, on the contrary, what happens is that let's see, we are 24. Let's look at our camera, outliner, perspective. We will look at 24, and the circle of confusion will be 1. So what I really like with that method is that my sphere, or the height of my sphere, or the distance where the focus point for my camera is, as you can see, the ground is not blurry. The ground is taken into consideration for the depth of field. And that, my friend, it's very important and very easy to use. So let's kill those spheres, we don't need them anymore. Let's grab the car here, this one, modify center pivot just to make sure that we get the right distance. We are 36. Look at the camera. Okay, focus distance 36, and maybe we have a circle of confusion that would be 0.3. And now we will go into our photographic exposure. We enable it. It's way too strong. That's why we'll put 800 here. That's what we'll put 4 here, and we'll put ISO 200 to start with. So far so good. Maybe a little bit more vignetting. We don't want it to be too dark. That's why we will go to 700, and we will make a render. Oh, sorry, we want to render with viewport. What about we try to make something descent. Yeah, 1200. It's a good size. So now we render it, and we're almost done with the render. That's fairly clean. It's good size 1. It's okay, and it's not too noisy. Render time, I would say around a minute maybe. Let's see. I could go back and tweak my material a bit more to a bit more roughness on the reflection, but anyway, 1.02, which is a great time, and we have an object that is integrated in backplate. Again, it's a very basic way of doing it. At some point in one of those upcoming chapters, we will be going into another method of doing it, which is using an environment shader, which also use a ray switch, which allows us to plug a specific map for a specific feature. Actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, I realized we did turn GI with 6 bar. Wow, 6 bars. Now 3 is more than enough. 512, mon Dieu, 256. Look at that. Even with those insane value. Wow, preset I, medium, good enough. I will show you the difference between the two. Okay, 1.2. I don't even know why those presets were super high, but we will see. And do a new render. What was I saying? Yes, I was saying that we will be using environment shader with a ray switch, and we will be plugging a specific map for a specific feature. Example, we'll be plugging a map just for the GI. The map is very blurry, which allows you to get a more diffuse GI. Then we'll be plugging a map just for the reflection, and we'll also be plugging a map just for the I forgot the word, for the refraction. Cool. You see that render seems to be a little bit faster. I don't think we will see much of a difference. Yeah, I don't really see a difference. Render time will be probably less. I hope so. Let's see. Okay, render time 45 seconds versus 1 minute. I really do not see it. There are probably some difference, but I do not see them. I don't see them. You see, just tweaking those values sometime could increase or reduce your render time. This is very important to keep an eye on what value you are using. It's always better to use low value first and crank them up as you need them, instead of doing something stupid like which I just did. For whatever reason, by default my value was super high, and we did reduce our render time by 25%. We want from 1 minute, 1 minute minus 25 seconds is 25, actually over 25%. It's actually quite good. 25% would have been 15, 30, 60 seconds a minute. Yeah, that's why we have to be careful with those settings and tweak them as we need them to be better, meaning raise those numbers if we want to combat a specific spot, like noise or in the shadow, or noise in the reflection, or stuff like that. So let's move to the next chapter.